Yo, take a look inside, realize your power. See our strength rise high by the hour. Manifest like lotus flower. Louder, I am free, not a coward. All we gotta do is say no to every single rule they roll. They're trying to murder our children, revealed, and they're running like Usain Bolt. From the AI to the GMO, from the fluoride to the Pope. You better stay wise to that fear, bro, or your mind will erode. You'd be suffocating your youths in mass, you'd kneel to Satan on doorsteps. You'd poison your children with that vaccine, feel no way to have more tests. But I got control of my life, and with the love I'm holding on tight. And if that girl there don't like to be free, then poof, she won't be my wife. I'ma live my life for our freedom. Wake up the guys, we might need them. The government's a Ross Clark snake trying to make you take a bite inside Eden. Who knows what might unfold? Turn off that box of mind control. Look deep inside and find your soul and realize that it's time, let's go. Wake up these walking dead, them slave to the system, born and bred. Get up, put your role in, friend. Show them you're free from the law of men.
I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. I am free, you are free, we are free. Truth be told, I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. Yeah, I am free, so you are free, and we are free. So truth be told,
take a look inside, realize your power. See our strength rise high by the hour. Manifest like lotus flower. Louder, I am free, not a coward. All we gotta do is say no to every single rule they wrote. They're trying to murder our children, reveal them, they're running like Usain Bolt. From the AI to the GMO, from the fluoride to the Pope. Better stay wise to that fear, bro, or your mind will erode. You'll be suffocating your youths in mass, you'd kneel to Satan on doorsteps. You poison your children with that vaccine, feel no way to have more tests. But I got control of my life, with the love I'm holding on tight. And if that girl there don't like to be free, then poof, she won't be my wife. I will live my life for our freedom. Wake up the guys, we might need them. The government's a Ross Clark snake trying to make you take a bite inside Eden. Who knows what might unfold? Turn off that box of mind control. Look deep inside and find your soul. Then realize that it's time, let's go. Wake up these walking dead, them slave to the system, born and bred. Get up, put your all in, friend. Show them you're free from the law of men.
I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. I am free, you are free, we are free. Truth be told, I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. Yeah, I am free, so you are free, and we are free. So truth be told,
back to the laws of nature. Reap what you sow and add flavor. Go research laws of a sovereign being. Defeat the war, it's on paper. They're trafficking kids, jacking our cribs, trying to scare us. Take that crap off your lips. Pigs trying to treat us like cattle with sticks. Soon kids won't know what happiness is. Soon masked up kids never seen a smile. And when's the last time you saw grandma? I am free and I'll stay free. Don't touch the kids, we'll bring anger. I am free, you are free, we are free, that's the mantra. Treat them like any dad would. Tom Hanks coming down the chimney like Santa. Clap for the NHS, that's black magic. For the taker of kids, that's fact. When I burn my sage and I cast my spell, can't socially distance that. I won't ever lie down playing victim or burn down Babylon system. Don't trust promise of freedom in the future when I'm free right now while you're listening. No pedophiles, no surveillance. So free and proud and no masons. I feel it now, it's all blatant. And I see the crowd they can't play with. Go make the call for Nuremberg 2 for the spiritual war they wage to hurt you and you and you and you and you. Shout we are free, the call to break through.
I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. I am free, you are free, we are free. Truth be told, I am free, you are free, we are free. Manifest. Yeah, I am free, so you are free, and we are free. So truth be told.
Greetings, Vagemites, rabbit aficionados. It's Rise Above reruns and it's a Monday night. How's everyone doing?
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above, abstract.
A little gin and tonic helps the show go down on a Monday. Yeah, welcome back everyone. Chop the Dog, Andy Pandy 33, King 77703. Everybody else tuned in. Yeah, wicked show on Friday night. Really, really nice. Fully enjoyed that one. Had some good guests. Two guests we had. What's going on here? Two guests we had on Friday night. And I think I like that format of having two guests. So this Friday, it's the big one. Panpsychism 3.3 from Inner Guardians, the final presentation before RA-TR33T. We've been building up to it by replaying Master Lee's original material that he came on the show with back in early 2021. Can everyone hear me all right? Good. Yeah, you got a call out, King. Of course you did. Big up Sam Carno. Don't forget, RA-Treat volunteers, get in touch with Sam Carno. The email address is on the screen, volunteers.ratreat@gmail.com. So on Friday, it's Panpsychism 3.3 from Inner Guardians. So we're going to be replaying tonight the second half of his original presentation, which was Metaphysical Personal Protection. And then I believe on Thursday, I'm going to replay the Law of Three. So this is all building up to this presentation on Friday, which is going to be the last full Rise Above episode before the RA-Treat goes down. And while I've got you here, guys, this is why we're doing these restreams or replays. It's to build up a bit more hype for the event that's coming in just over 2 weeks' time. It's to give you guys more of a chance to touch in with each other, maybe chat, exchange some ideas about getting to the event, your camping stuff, that kind of thing. And also, we want to try and sell a few more tickets as well. We're already well over our operational capacity and our break-even point. So now we're trying to really fill the place and make it a banging party, which it already is. But we want to put a little bit more rabbit on the barbecue. So yeah, we all know about the amazing lineup. We've got Inspector Veg, MC Silver, Mark Devlin, Terra Slim, Comprehend, Rustler, Tyatsim, Lucas Lyon, JD, Lost Dice, Leo Wild, Manic, Andy PG, Omer, Magix, Double L, Tom W's, DJ Chronic, Nikki L, Rise and Shine, Mode 12, Living Proof Hi-Fi, Sister and Sound, Chapter, Sinister Dread, and Cosmic. And there's going to be some surprises as well. We've got workshops handpicked from the RA community. There is also a whole host of children's activities which are pre-bookable. It's sort of like woodland activities babysitting with accredited woodland instructors. There's a woodland cinema on the Friday night as well. This is all pre-bookable at the Woodland School Dorset at gmail.com, or you can call Chloe on 07540 091 459. Once you've already got your RA-Treat tickets, then you can pre-book these Friday night activities for the kids, while you're coming and saying hello to everyone and meeting all these people that you've been chatting online to for the last 2 years. And then on the Saturday, we're running the same activities for the kids, which is very varied all day. There's woodlands, crafts and games, children's bushcraft, den building, storytelling and drama play, green woodwork and whittling, woodland playground, primitive tool making, tug of war, bug hotels, 10 till 3:30, £10 an hour or £40 for the full day. So you can actually unload the kids for the full day. Then you can come and do things like bushcraft and survival, axe throwing, carving, learning about fire lighting and natural tinder, all the kind of stuff that we really need if we actually do go into the greatest apocalypse ever and Western society collapses. That's the idea. We want people to come away from RA-Treat having learnt something. Okay. Yeah, there's a few memes from Friday night which I need to talk about. This one is the first Sexbots meme. I don't know if that's the first Sexbots meme. It's just from Sagehead. They've got human vibration back. Release the Sexbots immediately. And there was also Rise and Shine with this one here. You see, COVID is like magenta. Oh, sorry, Coviet is like magenta. It never in the first place. Yeah. So we're rerunning tonight. I think, I'm not going to say any more slides. Apart from this one. It's just too good. For anyone that saw the Nova Flip expose, you'll understand what this one's all about. Okay, guys, so, right, we'll get down to business now. Because this Friday is Panpsychism 3.3 from Inner Guardians, an absolute monster presentation. Lee sent me a video earlier showing his iPad or his tablet with all of the presentation, and it's massive. It's absolutely massive. So here we are going back to the original presentation from early 2021. Metaphysical Personal Protection. We are now halfway through it. This is where it starts to get really interesting. Big up Inspector Veg and everybody else tuned in. 32 people tuned in. Okay, so I'll go for the replay. This is Inner Guardians with Metaphysical Personal Protection.
Right, okay, so can you see this? Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. We can see it in full screen mode. Continue.
Right, okay. So that's that's me at the end of 2020. Right, so Firewheel, it's a nice little logo there. This is something that I've come up with, something I put together based on different aspects of the occult, alchemy, esoteric studies, martial arts, and personal protection. Now, the ingredients of it is pretty much the same as most alchemists will use. It's just that I've kind of made it a bit more palatable or understandable. I've really simplified it. And the reason why I've done that is because historically, to study any form of alchemy or esoteric knowledge, it would take you years and years and years. Now, because we're basically going to hit a critical mass, I would say by 2025, there's a sense of urgency. So we need solutions, and we need it as fast as possible. And we need to get people on the path of solutions as soon as possible. So this whole thing about, I don't know, sitting in a cave for 100 years, whatever, is not particularly useful at the moment, unless you're hiding. We're at the end times, I would suggest, for this particular agenda of essence and soul harvesting. Although I will say that I don't think it's the first time it's happened. I think it's happened before. I think there's been rises and falls in
it's cyclical, this harvest, because I've looked into this harvest cycle. Me and the missus, the Empress, we've looked into this in a couple of different disciplines, and we believe the harvest cycle is roughly 25,000 years. There's a few different occult teachings that talk about a 26,000 year cycle of a soul harvest. Have you heard about this?
Who, me? Yeah. As in me? Yeah.
Yes.
You're asking me, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, look, in my first principles, I stated that we're living in basically a food chain, a food cycle. Nature is complicit to the harvesting of food, but on a 3D organic level. Okay. There are higher forces at play, and there are agents working on behalf of certain levels of frequency or whatever that are acting out the harvesting. How they're getting paid is debatable. Maybe they're already devoid of compassion and so on and so forth, so it means nothing to them. They just view us as chickens or pigeons or rats or whatever. That's probably what the case is. But we're living in a realm that has to eat, has to feed. This is why I put the types of food. This is very important to understand, because generally speaking, we've been removed from the reality of nature to such an extent that we have really no idea what it is, nature is, and why we're here, and what purpose we serve. On that point, as a plus for civilization and humanity, and for every individual, is that we are all special. We are a particular organism that has a purpose, and we cover the surface of this organic realm. And what our purpose is to transform energies that are coming to us from different places, different realms, different planetary bodies. So our real occupations should be energy transformers. But they don't teach you that. They don't want you to know that, because actually we're very important, and we have everything in our biotech, our natural biotech, to do this. And this is why energy and frequency is everything. It's so important, but they don't teach you that in normal education. So, like I say, this is like a big plus for humans, that we're actually really important. We just need to know how to transform the energy, which is what I'm going to discuss now, and how to protect it as well.
Yes. Me and Andy just had a bit of a moment there.
Yes, it's really.
This is proper deep, mate. This is so good.
Right, there's a bit of a glitch on this one. Yeah, right. So,
Yeah, it's crossed 2 words at the top. What are those 2 words? It's crossed up.
well, this could actually be some kind of interference. Which it could be.
I'm sure you didn't make the slide like that in a Guardians.
Well, I'll tell you what it says. Right. So, fire wheel. Okay, so fire. Now we're going to go into a bit of word magic now. So fire. So the F for fire is focus. Okay, which is the first word. The second word will be intent. So that's the I. The third word is remember, or the third letter is R for remember. And the final letter of fire is exercise. Now, exercise, execute, energy. It leads to it. So what can we do as personal protection to protect our essence or our soul? We need to develop focus. We need to have intent, and we need to remember our focus and our intent, and we need to remember to exercise. And that creates a fire wheel, which basically is the correct use of our biotechnology. Okay. The use of our biotechnology isn't to be slaves to technology or slaves to anybody. Our correct use of our biotechnology is to create fire wheels, which will give us the ability to arise or ascend and not be fed upon or channeled for nefarious reasons. Actually, you can see it better on this one. So focus, intent, remember, exercise.
And
Okay.
right, Lee, let me just interject. This is your system that you came up with. You taught me about this a little while ago.
Yeah.
You said exercise exercise, or I prefer execute because it's me. Focus, intent, remember, execute. And when you explained this to me, first of all, it's like the trivium. I said, like, I fundamentally understand this because, like, this is how I do what I do. People think I'm weird, very intensive, very nutty. Don't care. That's how I do this. I focus, my intent. I remember everything I have remembered before, and then I execute it. 4 steps, quadrivium.
Yeah, in effect, yeah.
Boom.
No.
People pay a lot of money for this shit. Rise Above Family, we've got almost 170 people tuned in. That's a record, and it's no coincidence. It's cause of our special guest. Inner Guardians, fire system. Continue.
Yeah, so if you look at most spiritual or religious systems, they do incorporate fire. Excuse me. And also you've got the sun energy. And if you look at modern technology now, I believe it's reduced our ability to focus down to seconds, I believe. I don't know if anybody can quote me exactly how many seconds it is. So the use of smartphones, smart technology, Facebook and all of that, basically our ability to focus is something like 30 seconds, I believe. Does anybody know? Has anybody heard of this?
I've heard that a goldfish's whole attention span is 30 seconds. 30 seconds rings out to me like that when you talk about memory. I mean, I don't know. I've never heard about the specific parameters for a person's average attention.
Yeah, smart technology and social media has given the ability. Well, not given. It's degraded individuals' ability to focus for longer than a few seconds. Now that's kind of flicking through Facebook as you're scrolling through. And also, if you look at marketing, advertising, I think you've got 30 seconds of somebody's attention. It's getting harder and harder to advertise.
I tell you what, right? Wait, what you just said there, put it into perspective. The last time I went to America, I was 15 years old. And every year when I was young, I spent like maybe a month there because I had family in America. And when I was 15, I remember when I saw American TV, the level of cuts and editing in the TV was absolutely insane. You couldn't watch one thing for more than 1.5 or 2 seconds before there's a cut to another scene, another sequence. That's all about editing your attention. It's about keeping everyone at a very low attention span. And that absolutely marries up with what you just said.
Yeah. Have you got this? Am I showing the
No, I've got it back up on there. Don't keep your screen up. I control what's on the stream. You control what's on your screen, mate. I just like to show your wicked off grid dojo every now and then. Yeah, so we're on fire. We're on fire. Here we are.
Right. Okay. So, what is the problem? Degradation and fragmentation, the four poisons, toxins: fear, doubt, hesitation, surprise. Okay.
And we can see those abundant in the covert, obedient people. Those are absolutely abundant in the people that are following the dictates of the covert union.
Yeah. So these are some of the solutions that I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I'm just showing you roughly the solutions. Disregard what's on the right hand side. That's Japanese. That's for the martial arts people that I teach. Now, coincidentally, the samurais had already figured this stuff out, and they've already got words in Japanese that have been used for a long time, such as mushin, fudoshin. But anyway, so
I said to Andy a minute ago, we're learning the ways of the samurai when we've got you on the show. Trust me, mate.
Yeah. So these are kind of solutions to the problem. Say fear, abandon, doubt, aim, hesitation, action, awareness, surprise, awareness. So they're kind of counters. They counterbalance those problems of those toxins. Okay, right. So let's be very clear about this part and lay down the first principles on this very important subject. Why do we have the four poisons and where do they come from? Hexes, sigils, thought forms, entities, and basically psyops. These four poisons are given to us in many different ways, but to simplify it, they will come to us in one of two ways: from an external influence or from the self. The strongest form of attack is self-inflicted, or as Dracula would like for you to invite him into your home. So that's basically self-slaughtering or giving consent to be abused or attacked. We also have external institutions, organizations, and corporations using mind sciences, thought forms, hexes. This goes under the denying forces. So basically, it's dark occultists of corporations and organizations. They're fully aware of all of this stuff. Okay, how do the denying forces work? So basically, the denying forces directly come to us via the media frequencies, and frequencies is an interesting point. Authorities, education, science, agents, entities, and dark occultists. So what that basically means is that the denying forces are at work against us, and these are kind of the conduits or the ways that it can come to us with a few more. Each one of these subjects, I could go into a lot of detail, but
we appreciate you're skimming so many things, and we keep interrupting you, mate. And I'm sorry, me especially.
So the what, the why, and the how. So we go back to the trivium. The what, and this is from the positive perspective. We are bioenergy machines. Okay, so we're not evolved monkeys spinning around for no reason through the universe for absolutely no purpose whatsoever. We are actually bioenergy machines. When I say the word machines, that's more. I don't mean like a transhumanism. That's more of a natural mechanism. Why? Great nature needs us, organic life. So remember I said that we basically populate the surface of this realm to transform energy as part of organic life. How? Arise, ascend, and towards love. The opposite to love is... Now, this is not a trick question. Well, it kind of is, but most people think that the opposite to love is hate. Okay,
fear.
Which is another
It's
lie.
fear.
Yeah. Fear.
Fear is the mind killer.
That's a trick. So basically, love and fear, they're kind of the spectrum. We are living in a system with the full spectrum of love and fear. The entropy of love is fear. So if you look at the dark occultists, they're basically taking us away from love and bringing us to fear. We all kind of understand love can conquer everything. And when you use love, you can pretty much do anything. I mean, when people fall in love, they will literally conquer anything to fulfill the love. If anybody has a love for something, they will literally go for days without eating and sleeping to fulfill that love, which is, it makes us powerful. And love is creative, imaginative, and protective. So love is actually part of personal protection. So, like I say, people think personal protection is all about kung fu or stuff like that, hitting people with sticks. It's actually not at all. Personal protection is about protecting your ability to have love and develop a soul and to live in peace and to enjoy life as we're meant to. This is something I found, which I thought was quite interesting. To fear love is to fear life, and those who fear life are already 3 parts dead.
Wow.
So they talk about us dying in parts. Well, this is quite a good quote for that.
And I guess the fourth part would just be your physical body. That would be the fourth death, just your physical body, none of the emotion, the spiritual level.
Yeah, I will say that there's a lot of people that are already dead, walking around dead, and we often come across these unfortunate people, and largely it's self-slaughtering. And also what you've got to remember is, because of all the kind of bad things that have been done to us throughout history and in recent history, and through psychological operations and through miseducation, predators, dark occultists, you got to have some kind of sympathy for humanity, for the most part, I would say. Right, get the fire wheel spinning. Focus, intent, remember, exercise. Now, there's a few. I'll put that in just to break it up a little bit. Laser mental focus. So focus. So these are just some kind of exercises that I always offer students that are interested in this type of thing. So
answering the question from earlier, this is daily things you can do to answer the missus's question from earlier. Daily things you can do to combat the non-physical attacks. Yeah.
Yeah. So focus on breathing. Focus your attention on your feet exercise, like we did at the beginning. I haven't, because of the, I'm presenting on a open platform. It's a bit tricky to kind of get into too much detail, but I just threw that in there. So basically, we want to try and get back into our bodies. The dark occultists are always trying to take us out with fascination, with distractions, with all kinds of stuff to distract us from ourselves. Get back in your body. You are an amazing piece of natural, organic biotech, far superior to any technology that we know right now. And remember that. Yeah. So the power is with us. So the focus your attention on your feet. The reason why we use the feet is because it's kind of the lowest part, it's the furthest part from our attention. So generally speaking, if you feel your feet, you'll generally get a good sense of your whole body. You can then start to practice moving the focus around your body. And once you kind of get used to that on a daily basis, you'll basically start to become more connected. And when you become more connected, you'll become more protected. So focus on external phenomena whilst focusing on the body. So that's taking it to the next level. So it's kind of like an exercise that you can do on a day-to-day basis. I don't really want to go into divided attention. That's a little bit tricky to try and describe. What's the next one? With focus, we can channel and direct the energy correctly, which is basically what we're meant to be doing anyway. It's just that we were never taught how to. Channeling energy exercise. Right. Okay. So this should be done literally all day, every day. So when something negative comes to you, rather than send it up to your head or into your heart, it should be sent down to the feet, to earth. So there's nothing wrong. Bad things are going to happen. It's unavoidable because there is a denying force. There is negativity in the law of three. You can't avoid it. So when negativity does come, we send it down energetically because you've been practicing how to direct your attention. We send it down to our feet and we earth it out. Ideally, if you could take your shoes off and walk around barefoot on some grass, that'd be perfect. But what that basically does is it displaces the energy, the negative energy, down to the earth, which is what it's meant to do. Nature will take care of that negative energy, but it means that it's not going to infect you. Okay, the positive things that come your way, send it up to your crown or up towards the head. It's just the opposite direction, up to the air. And then we become balanced and neutral in the heart, which gives us peace. It means we'll be able to sleep well and we'll be protected. So this would be how a fully functional, sovereign human with first principles and good knowledge and understanding, this is how they would deal with their life on a day-to-day basis.
Can I just interject, Lee? Can you give any examples, a working example of any sort of culture, subculture, religious group or practice on the earth today that is harnessing this in its full effects? Is there one in existence, and what would be the best example if there is?
Well, apart from any occultists or alchemists that will know this, I would say that it's been widely taken away. This is.
Have you heard about the Falun Gong in China?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think, I'm looking at this particular slide here and the last slide. I'm really not talking about maybe the trivium and the quadrivium, maybe the more spiritual and energetic side, which you've explored more recently here. I look at the Falun Gong as potentially the best example that have sort of amalgamated all of these Eastern disciplines and traditions like Buddhism, Zen, Taoism, etc., and sort of Bruce Lee'd them into this new understanding of how to harness essentially what you're talking about, being a sovereign energy. What did you call it? An energy factory, an energy wheel?
Well, I use the term biotech. I mean, it's not
a sovereign piece of biotech animated by the infinite spark. Should we coin it like that? Something like that?
Yeah, that's good.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah,
mate, this is amazing.
Yeah, the Falun Gong. I mean, that's why they're targeted by the organ harvest, because they generally have very good health.
That's what we've been saying. They've got to have the best organs of the whole goddamn realm.
Can I just make an observation? You said, Lee, a second ago about when you feel something negative, it'd be ideal if you could go outside barefoot, walk on grass, let nature, deal with the negative energy. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to all the negative energy in these smart cities where everyone's stacked up sky high in these big tower blocks, like the movie Judge Dredd? There's no grass, there's no nothing natural,
nothing to walk on like that. Sacred geometry, only straight lines, only right angles, only shades of grey.
There'll be no release of the negative energy.
No. Well, we're already at that stage pretty much already.
90%, 95%. Compare it to like a Judge Dredd mega city where there's no greenery, no dirt, nothing.
Try spending a week in central London and see how your energy feels.
That's it.
And then as soon as you go to a park, as soon as you go to Hyde Park, how your energy and your vibration instantly increases.
Yes. Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah, it's kind of natural. It's a natural phenomena, and we like I said in the beginning, we already know all this stuff. It's just that we haven't had enough motivation to start paying attention to it, to placing our focus. And
here's our motivation. 2020 was our motivation, in case anyone didn't realize. That's what you're talking about, isn't it? That's the reason you're on the show. The motivation has been presented. Here are the solutions. Observe.
Right. So this is just a quick diagram. I'm not going to go into it, but basically fascination is one direction of attention. So that's what Facebook wants. Just one direction. Basically, it's a distraction away from yourself, away from who you are, who you could be, who you should be. And then you've got divided attention, which basically means you can observe outside phenomena and also be equally aware of yourself. So you're not being eaten or consumed by what you're observing. Divided attention that's like quite high level for an occultist to be able to perform. So basically their attention is divided into a three. And then you've got self-remembering, which unifies it all, creates a cycle where you're being fed and you're feeding equally. But like I say, that's quite high level to get to that level. So a man number one would be just fascinated. They're stuck in fascination. Their attention is taken away from them. They're not self-aware, in effect, which leaves them vulnerable to be prey. So if you want to put personal protection to this, that would be the equivalent of just walking down the street and being totally unaware of yourself.
Whoa. Say that again. Walking down the street. So you're walking down the street. There are other people in the street, other people who might be hostile. There are vehicles in the street. There are workmen working above you, and you are completely unaware of everything else in the street. No, sorry. You can see everything in the street, but you're unaware that you exist as an object. Is that what you're talking about when you get to level 1 of this?
Yeah, it's kind of like a lack of self-awareness, self-worth. So basically, you're offering yourself up as prey. Well, even a rabbit would have more awareness than some humans allow themselves to become. But that may not be their own fault. It could be through a series of psychological attacks or whatever, or just life in general, or the family.
Generational, non-physical attacks.
Yeah. Okay. So with the intent is vital. Now, people sort of say, well, what's the important sort of intent? Well, if you go to a court of law, they use intent to assess your verdict. So intent is very important because if it wasn't, a court of law wouldn't use it, and you could spend a whole life in prison because you showed intent for whatever you did or didn't do. Without intent, you cannot do. If you cannot, then you are food for the moon. So basically, somebody who lacks intent, they will probably end up as food for the moon. Now, whether that's literal or whether it's just kind of a slang way of saying that you become garbage, I can't verify. I've not been to the moon. I don't know if there's like harvesting there or whatever taking place on the moon, but it's that term "food for the moon" is used in many esoteric groups.
Yeah, we're not just talking physically. We're talking allegorically.
Well, I think it's
metaphorically, energetically. Yes.
Yeah, energetically. I mean, there is some speculation that the moon is some kind of factory of some sort.
Isn't
like
what they say it is, as we've explored in great detail on this channel, and we won't go into that now, but yeah, don't get too caught up in what the moon is or isn't. More of a concept.
Yeah. Okay, so intent exercises. Start with small intentions, small enough to fit in your pocket. The teacher of my teacher, that was a very famous saying that he had. Well, famous within esoteric groups. So people want to have intentions, but having them too big, you're going to be kind of disappointed. So it's best to start off with small intentions. Get into the habit of making intentions small enough to fit inside your pocket. So once again, not literally, but it's like an analogy of to basically have small intentions to start with. When you start playing with intentions, then you start to expose the denying forces, because the moment you make an intention, the denying forces will appear.
Small axe chop down a big tree.
Small. Say again. Small.
This is what Bob Marley said. A small axe chops down a big tree. Small day by day, small intentions add up to a big ultimate event.
Yeah.
To quote Robert Nesta Marley.
Yeah. So don't be too ambitious. Like if you're new to this, then don't be too ambitious. Just start off with very small ones. I mean, I started off with things like, I don't know, looking out for different colors or something, or setting the intention to look at my watch on the hour. And you'll find after 3 hours, you'll forget. It's, something as small as that, you'd think, yeah, I can do that, no problem. 12 hours, yeah, easy. An intention of sensing your feet while you're making a phone call, as an example. You'll quickly see it's not as easy as it sounds. For anybody that's studied meditation, they do the counting exercise. When you do the conscious counting to 10, it's really difficult to get past 5 or 6 before you forget. That's the level of our ability to have intention. Okay, so live an intentional life with aim. Be the director. So there's always this discussion about like who the architect and so on and so forth. Well, if you don't have any intent or any aim, then you're leaving yourself to be designed by somebody else. So, live an intentional life with aim and be the director of what you do with your choices. In the Matrix movie, the hinge point of it is free will and choice. So if you study those movies, you'll understand that. Right, set the intention to focus and sense your feet or hands every time you look at your phone. So that's a good example of an exercise. So every time you look at your phone, see if you can sense your feet or your hands. Right, remember the first principles of any activity. Remember to have focus, intent, and exercise the focus and intent. Remembering is the gelling agent. Remember you are already, that doesn't read right. Remember you are already all the biotechnology, start to use it.
It reads right, don't worry. We get it.
You get the gist of it.
Absolutely.
Right. We're coming towards the end of it. So this is like energy
We're
exercise.
right on time. No problem, mate. We're right on time.
Exercise daily. Okay, so we try and do these exercises daily, like the inner exercises. We are in the perfect conditions to exercise. Use the conditions. It's an energetic gym. So basically, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. In actual fact, all these exercises, or try and have exercise that can be done covertly. So people often say to me, oh, I don't see you meditating. Oh, I don't see you doing breathing exercises. Oh, I don't see you doing whatever. Well, as an occultist, we learn to do it covertly. And this is very important, not to kind of do outward displays of any particular inner work. The inner work can be done in any situation at any time. You don't need anything. You don't need any special tools, any special potions, anything. You are a self-contained biofactory of particular energies. And just as the last point, the non-expression of negative emotions. So the easiest way that we kind of basically fuck it all up is when we express negative emotions. Basically, we lose it. Right, so these are some energy reminders. You need a particular type of energy. So in order to ascend, in order to rise, in order to build a soul, because remember, this is what we're here for, is to develop a soul. You need a particular type of energy. Now, we need to cultivate this energy, and we need to stop leaking energy. And the war is within. So basically, it's a war of energies. So we're either being fed upon for our energy, or we're actually gathering energy using magnetism and forming a soul where we can ascend. We can ascend to the level of causation, so that we can be the cause and not the effect. So basically, we're not just victims. So everything now is all about being a victim. And I would say that what's happened in 2020 was almost a way of exposing people's victimness or victimhood. Or you can see people are kind of really, they're loving it. They're lapping this up. They're kind of like a hypochondriac type of thing, which is a form of mental illness. Okay, do not react, but respond. A response is a reaction, but with intelligence. Intelligent action is beneficial to self and other. So the way that we kind of differentiate between a response is that it's useful to the self and to other people around us. So as an example, if the roof was just about to fall down and I put my hands up to stop it, that would be a reaction, which is fine. It served its purpose, but it's only in that moment. It wouldn't serve any more of a purpose for me to keep reacting about the roof falling down. A response would be to obviously protect myself from not being hit and possibly go and tell my family not to go in the room. So this is important that we learn how to respond, and we respond by having first principles. We respond by understanding the trivium. We respond by the quadrivium, the 7 liberal arts, and primarily we respond by being adults. some of you might have heard me on social media. I use the word adult babies. This is one of the problems we've got at the moment, is that there's too many adult babies around. I'm just going to flick through. These are just some side notes. These are the things I teach. I'm not going to go into them now, but things like the grey rock method, which is basically, rather than engage in acts of negativity with NPCs or bots or algorithms, it's better to give the grey rock response, which is basically nothing. You're as animated as a grey rock. It's a technique which is used for to ward off psychological attacks. So I think we're literally coming to the end. As within, so without. Relativity, micro, macro, the universe inside.
As above, so below, baby.
Yeah. Work on oneself, others, and the syndicate or cell. Form small cells or groups of 8. There's reference to Prison Break. So remember before the presentation, I said to form groups of 8, to form syndicates. And I'll tell you why. Is because the dark occultists and those who are working against us, that's what they do. They form groups of 8. Money people, they form groups of 8. Criminals form groups of 8. In order to have a chance of surviving, it's very difficult to survive alone. You need a support mechanism, support system. And I recommend that you start now to think about the 8 people that you can work with.
Whoa.
And
Are
that's
you in
the
my
final
group of
slide.
8, Lee? Am I is Rise above? Are we a group of 8 with you? Please say yes. Trust
Yeah,
me.
of course. Now it doesn't mean it has to stop at 8. It's just, but also once you form a cell of 8, you can connect with other 8s. So remember what I said about the octaves. So this 8 is a particular number.
Yep. And octaves work like a trans-layered frequency, like a hologram. As above, so below. One octave
Also,
mirrors
it's
the
infinity.
next, mirrors the next. Yes. Yeah,
Infinity.
you know, it's like peeling the layers of the onion, many different metaphors to describe the same thing.
So that's the end of the presentation.
What a presentation, mate. Me and Andy have literally been looking around at each other going, holy shit. Guys.
I've been pretty speechless to
absolutely
a lot of that.
speechless. Like, right, we are not going to obey by the midnight rule tonight. This has run over a little bit. There was and we interrupted Lee far too much. Inner Guardians, thank you so much. Holy shit. I hope you don't have to go anywhere soon, because I know there's going to be a shitload of questions, mate. That was an absolute that was a masterclass in an absolute application of the occult knowledge, the esoteric arts, into actually protecting yourself into what is coming to us and what's being applied against us, like we've been talking about, like we said in our intro months ago. These people are master psychologists. They understand everything about us. Right, questions time. Everyone in the comment section. This is the time when Lee, Inner Guardians, can actually address your questions directly. I know we've got a 30-second or 1 minute delay, depending on your level of Rupert Murdoch or Virgin Pizzagate megapixels per second. Whatever your delay is, comments, questions, please put it up. Maximum respect to Inner Guardians. While we're just getting the questions loaded up, I'm going to share our screen to show you how you can get hold of this dude. And please, if I'm getting this wrong, Inner Guardians, let me know. This is the Close Solutions Protection Specialist contact address. If you literally are in serious goddamn trouble, is there a single entity on this earth you would rather contact than Inner Guardians? There's only one guy I'm going to contact if I'm in deep shit anywhere in the world. These are the contact details. If you want to
we're all currently in deep shit.
Yeah, everyone's in deep shit. If you if you are in the same boat as everyone else and you want some level by level, step by step, spiritual inner guidance for non-physical and physical protection, check out the Inner Guardians YouTube station. I'll tell you what, by tomorrow you're going to have 177, 277, 37. You need much more subscribers, Inner Guardians.
Yeah.
Trust me. Right, so guys, Everyone is saying absolutely superb show. Right, have we got any questions? Let me just have a little look here.
I mean, I've got about 50.
I'm hearing that my mic is muffled. Right, should I take this thing off? Is that better? Is that better? Okay, so let's have some questions for Inner Guardians, please. Is this Wolfie the Executioner? Why specifically do you have a nanogram logo on your website? Lee? Is this a question for Inner Guardians?
Yeah.
Were you aware your symbol was nanogram?
I think it means enneagram. Enneagram.
Okay. And what does that mean? Let's go back to your symbol. One sec.
That's the words going backwards.
Let me just share that screen again so everyone can see. Add to stream. Enneagram. So this symbol here, that looks to me like one of those what's the little gadgets when you're a kid with the multicolours, with the pen, with the swirly grams, like the like the geometric drawing device. Spirograph. That's it.
No, it's actually an occult symbol. Origins are largely unknown. It's actually the Enneagram. It's spelled the E. It's 9. It's 9 points. It's a way of explaining the cosmology, and a lot of things like personalities and stuff like that.
All right, we've got a really in-depth, very particular question that you may or may not know about here from Bold and Broke. They say, have you heard about the rock formation in South Africa? That it's circles linked by lines and it's spread for thousands of miles. They found the rock had frequencies and essentially the power grid, Ubuntu, ley lines, dragon lines. Have you heard of this concept?
Well, the software I use is Ubuntu.
Wow, yeah, that's right. Your slideshow software, Ubuntu, right? Okay, Bold and Broke? You had this thing earlier on, and it was too in depth for me to stop Lee in his flow. So yeah, is there a link here, Ubuntu?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. There's kind of a new, there's kind of a new, I'd say, movement like open source, where they're trying to get out of the prisons of Microsoft, Windows, and Apple. So I think it's could be connected, but
mate, I think that amazingly links in with the next question from Tom Gent. Do you believe that the people who are on this journey consciously connected to some form of spiritual higher being? Whoa.
What? As in?
Well, you were just talking about different people. Well, not in Rise Above, but you were just talking about people that. Why did they choose the name Ubuntu for that software? You were talking about people in the software industry that are on the whole open source tip. Do you think that
there's a conscious community within technology? Yes, without a doubt.
Okay, absolutely, and that was a nice little lead on from the original question. Let's see what else we've got. We've got so many questions coming through.
Did you want to say something, Magix?
Oh yeah, welcome Magix and welcome Spoken Word Nerd officially to the panel. I know they were at the stream because we wanted to protect the bandwidth for Inner Guardians. Guys, have you got any questions for Inner Guardians while I check the comments? Yeah, we can hear you, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, man. What a guest. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, mate. What a guest.
Honest to you, man. What a guest. But yeah, I'm just gobsmacked, to be honest. What a show.
It's been amazing, isn't it? Like since we've started getting guests on every week, we've been up in the levels, and Lee has smashed it tonight. Magix, you've got to have a question. I know he covered so much. Soul harvesting, loosh harvesting. Slightly
off topic, but not off topic, because I'd imagine people in the chat room are interested. What martial arts, what have you studied? What disciplines have you studied throughout your time?
Good question. It's been quite a few. Karate, Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Japanese Kudo, Kendo, Ninjutsu. What else? Russian Sambo, Sistema. What else? I think that's pretty much it.
Would it just be easier to say all of them? All martial arts. Right. He's not called the godfather of UK mixed martial arts for nothing. Like the intro, I didn't want to like bum him too much, right? It's my friend here, but like, you know, I showed the Wikipedia. We showed a few fights where he just decked people. The godfather of mixed martial arts before UFC. You know, Lee was a progenitor before that octagon. Oh, wait a minute. Sam Kano says, please show my question. Let me just rewind. Right, we've got a question from Sam Kano. If I can't find it, can you just retype it, mate? Because the comment section is just so nuts. Amazing guest, superb show. Where's your question then? Sam Kano, where's your question, mate?
We can't see it in the comments.
Can't see your question. The last thing you said is superb show. Yeah, honestly, we agree.
It's sending it energetically.
Energetically, right. Spoken word nerd, have you got any? You must have a question for Inner Guardians, please.
Oh, I'm trying to think I'm trying to formulate it into a question. I'm even more quiet.
You're so gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Sam Carlo says go further up.
One point I thought I was getting black-pilled again, and when you tie it in with the metaphors, Lee, at the end, and then the hope that comes out of it, that we are energetic beings and that we have the capacity to break out of this, especially when we're aware of it, just mind blown. And I love the Matrix metaphors as well. That was one of my favorite scenes in I think it's the last Matrix, the third one, when Agent Smith says, why do you persist, Mr. Anderson? And Neo says, because I choose to.
Yeah, it's all about choice. Free
Right.
will and choice. Free will is the man number 7.
Is what, sorry?
The film The Matrix is basically an analogy of well, many things, but choice, hope, love, and free will.
Right. Right, I hear that.
Right,
Yeah.
we found Sam Carno's question. Please, please, please ask Inner Guardians. Explain how what you're talking about tonight in its entirety ties in with martial arts and why they are so important, especially to learn at a young age, and how the Eastern arts are still important. MMA is killing. I think that at the end was a statement. MMA is killing. It's not the same. I think he's making a separation between Eastern martial arts, MMA. Are you agreeing, disagreeing? What you saying?
Can I add one little thing before you answer?
No. Let me do Sam Carno's question. Please wait after Magic's because he's been waiting for this one. Go ahead, Lee.
Well, so basically, the question is, MMA is killing Eastern martial arts. Is that?
No, I think what he's saying is that I think he's saying that please tell me how Eastern martial arts are important for this discipline of the self-protection at a young age, and then he's making a statement at the end that he's saying that maybe MMA is actually a bit brutal and less disciplined. I hope I'm interpreting it right because there's a question and a statement.
Yeah. Well, okay. Regarding the martial arts, I think martial arts is going to have to evolve dramatically. Now, there's the option to spend 10 years studying things. I think is going to have to change. Now, the other aspect is developing the inner or the inside of somebody, as opposed to it just being a physical art. It took me many years to find any teachers that could teach me the sort of internal disciplines. And I don't mean like qigong or tai chi, stuff like that. I mean like the actual inner qualities and how to deal with fear and all those other toxins like hesitation, doubt, and surprise. It took me a long time to find anybody. In fact, most of that stuff I got from the esoteric groups as opposed to the martial arts. I think for the most part, martial arts is going through some kind of degradation along with everything else, unfortunately. But I am seeing glimpses of hope that there are a few teachers now popping up, but it's largely coming from stuff like the jiu-jitsu and ninjutsu. They seem to be grasping more of the holistic approach where the internal and the external are being pushed. With regarding to martial arts for children, well, it's kind of, it fills the gaps that they're not going to get from school. So they learn to experience different aspects of life that modern schooling, which in my opinion is really degraded compared to when I went to school. It's not teaching any critical thinking. It's not teaching any problem solving. With martial arts, it's all about problem solving. The problem is, someone's going to punch your face in. you need to figure stuff out quickly.
That's an amazing answer. I think that's done it. Can you just slightly elaborate on? Do you think that? Right, someone's already put in the comments. You are an MMA legend. In case anyone didn't know, do you think that MMA in its current form has lost that respect of the Eastern arts and is more about brutality and almost killing someone in the octagon? I hope I'm doing Sam Carno's.
Yeah, that's
question.
exactly what
that's what he meant, isn't it? Yeah. Can you address that?
What? So MMA compared? Well, the thing is, I think
its
MMA
current form, in its Conor McGregor incarnation, has it lost the disciplines of those ancient Eastern martial arts?
Well, right. Okay. So we've got a problem. So let's use the first principles. Okay. So first principles is that mixed martial arts is not necessarily martial arts. It's a combat sport. The only reason it's called mixed martial arts is because they wanted to get it recognized in America. So the easiest way to get it recognized in America was to link it to martial arts. So I think it's better called a combat sport, mixed combat sport. That's my answer. Did you get that?
Sorry, mate. I was just getting an extra question from the front room from the missus about crystals. I hope everyone else heard the answer for MMA. That wasn't an answer for me. Right, Magic's you're next. A quick question from the Empress. What is your knowledge of crystals? Can you explain the difference between different types of crystals, how they can be used for non-physical protection, for healing, and for cleansing? How does this fit in with your disciplines and your knowledge?
Okay, well, crystals are not really my speciality. My speciality is personal protection for the inside with no tools whatsoever. Okay, so the way I was taught in esoteric groups was that you already have everything you need. You can use other things to assist you or to help you, like the pendulum and things like that. But
like you told me to do divining with a crystal pendulum or a sacred stone.
Yeah, well, it could be anything. You could use a shoe on the end of a shoelace. It doesn't really matter so much the actual crystal. It's all about intent. So once again, intent overrides pretty much any 3D reality. And this is something that we need to get to grips with. Same way with being creative, visualization, imagination. These are very powerful tools that we already have. They're just they're suffering a little bit.
Would you say that certain physical manifestations, like certain crystal formations, would facilitate those actions better than others?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, without stretching your knowledge of crystals, which you don't know. Okay, so I hope that sort of answers the question.
Crystals is not my, I'm a syncretist. I'm a polymath. Crystals is not. I mean, I've dabbled with them slightly, but I'm not going to sit here and be an expert.
It's a medium, the same as tarot cards. Same as
it's a tool.
It's a tool. It's a tool. There are many tools for the path that we're talking about. The next question was from Magix. Before I go back to the comment section.
Well, to be honest, you answered my question with the last answer. But just for anyone who doesn't really know, could you explain polymath a little bit so people understand?
All right. Yeah. Polymath. Well, okay. When I was young, or actually not so young, even when I was doing MMA, I thought there was something wrong with me. Because I had the ability to look at all the different martial arts and see the similarities and see how they could be used in the right context. So I thought there was something wrong with me. Then I stumbled across the term polymath, and then I realized that people like Leonardo da Vinci was a polymath, and in actual fact, there's nothing wrong with it. Leonardo da Vinci would draw sketches of the anatomy. He would create works of art. He would also design weapons for destruction. He was able to turn his capabilities to many different disciplines. And some people have it more naturally than others. Actually, it's a very good question, because in order to survive this post-pandemic, post-reset, pretty much everybody's going to have to become a polymath to one degree or another. The option to specialize in one thing are going to be taken away. So at some point, if you don't want to live in the smart city, you're going to need to know how to grow food, how to build a house, how to find water. basically how to live, not necessarily off grid, but without the support of the grid system. The smart
Awesome.
system.
Next question is on the screen from eConnect. Sorry for make you wait, mate. Question directly to Inner Guardians. Do you think if we're feeling down/depressed that we have negative energy forms attached to us? Not universally, but as a possibility.
Possibly yes, but also possibly no. Feeling down and depressed is actually a normal reaction to an abnormal situation.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So what an abnormal situation foisted upon us by, i.e. the Soviet Union, i.e. before this manifestation, whatever you want to call it before that, the introduction to the New World Order for the last 3-4 decades.
So feeling down is a good and healthy natural reaction to basically a shit situation. So it could be either. You'd need to know more with regards to negative energy forms attached to us. Yeah, there's negative energy forms attached. There's also directed negative energy that can be aimed at us. It can come in many different ways. It can come from the Wi-Fi. It can come from the internet. The origins of the television. The television was designed so that they could see spirits. So they could actually...
Wait. Please elaborate.
Yeah, the origins of the television was a machine that was created so that they could basically download entities and spirits.
In what year did that happen?
I can't quote the year, but
when did the television officially come out? What are we talking about? 1940?
Well, there's what they tell us, and there's what they actually did. There was an era when there was doing lots of seances and channeling of spirits, and the technology of the television was largely brought about because they wanted to find a way to manifest spirits and entities.
I've heard about people listening to spirit voices that are incarnated through electromagnetic feedback through radio frequencies. So that really rings true. I'm just trying to find a question up here because there are so many questions popping up in the comments, and it was about dark entities. Who is it from? Okay, underneath the question. Dark energies. Oh, someone was asking about archons. Wait a minute, I'm going to find it any second now. I think basically what the question was is, are there, like archons, the jinn, demonic forces which can attach themselves to us to sort of harvest this energy in real time rather than for this forthcoming event that we're talking about? I believe that's what the question was about without me looking for it for too long.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, archon is just a term. Archon means rulers. So basically anything that rules over us is considered an archon under the Gnostic teaching. So we're being...
It's on the screen. I'm being so dumb. The question is on the screen. Yeah, big up Bold and Broke.
Yeah, there's dark energies everywhere, and they can attach themselves in many different ways. They can hang around in many different ways. Now, the main reason they're going to hang around is if you're giving off energy. I remember I got talking to one of these guys who goes around killing rats, and I said, it was a place where I used to work years ago, and I said, how come you keep coming back? Can't you get rid of them? He says, well, no, you can never get rid of rats if you leave food around. So for as long as there's food, there'll always be rats. The only way you can get rid of rats is to not leave any food out. So that's kind of like an analogy to how we are. If we're giving off negative energy, then we're going to be attracting all kinds of negative entities.
Awesome. Right, Tom Thomas is coming with the ultimate granddaddy smackdown of questions. Are we going to defeat the New World Order, the New Normal, the Soviet Union, the NWO?
Yes, but it's not going to be without a struggle.
It's not an easy question to answer. Holy shit.
No.
It's a big question, Tom Thomas.
Yeah.
Really challenging the Guardians there.
I personally believe we can. I don't think it's been done. I think it's a work in progress. The thing is, the protagonist behind the agendas, they're not as clever as what they want us to believe. It's a bit like the Wizard of Oz thing.
Yeah.
You put me in a room. You put me in a room with any of these characters, and I can take them to pieces psychologically, no
and
problem at all.
physically.
Well, yeah.
It lasts about 0.1.5 seconds in a room with you, mate. Oh my god! Right, have we got? And this has been by far the best show so far, and so many people have said it in the comment section. Holy goddamn shit! Right, have we got any more questions before we start to the wind down half an hour? Because we've already breached the 5-hour mark, and it's absolutely fine. Tonight has been so epic. Inner Guardians, holy shit! Right, before we just start to do the wind down half an hour, I'm just going to share the screen again because I have to remind everyone how they can get hold of you, how they can hear more from you. Where's my screen gone? So
they can also contact me via Inner Guardians on Facebook.
Okay, you're still on Facebook, yeah?
Yeah, until maybe I'll get deplatformed after this show.
Well, mate, we're definitely looking for a striker of this. Right, one last question before we have a miniature break before the last half an hour. Sam
I'll add
Carno.
one of his links to the site straight after the show as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So every single way that you can get hold of Lee Hasdale, aka Inner Guardians, will be added to our site in full disclosure. One more question from Sam Carno. Due to our vowels being changed to 5 from 7, which is the octaves, if you combine them due to do's, can we use the vibrations we need to leave this realm? And as that the enslavement, wow, he's talking about our vowels. Did you know that our vowels have been reduced? Did I just butcher that? Did I read it wrong?
No,
That's
I think
the question on the screen.
Well, sound is a weapon with the vibrations. But this is the other thing, like with languages, and especially with mantras in Sanskrit, which is meant to be a particular type of language specifically for vibration and frequencies. So I'm just trying to read the question again. Change.
So AOUI.
AEIOU.
Currently, is that 5 or 7?
Yeah.
AEIOU.
So before there were 2 more vowels.
Yeah, right. So if you can remember, I flicked through it right at the end on the notes. There is a section on there for mantras.
That's it. I remember.
I personally use mantras. I use some from Japan. I use some from Sanskrit. I also make up my own. It's good to be creative, especially with this type of stuff. What you'll find is that the denying force will find ways of hijacking the truth. And one way to hide is to be creative.
And when you're talking about mantras, going back to Mrs. Rise Above's questions earlier on about daily techniques, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. When you talk to me, when we had our first in-depth chat a few months back, you said you're going to face some non-physical attacks. You're going to have some people trying to either hex you, try to send you non-physical attacks online. And you talked to me about a daily ritual that you could partake in to end contracts with Archontic forces. Please, could you expand on that for the viewers? Because that was really insightful for me.
Well, it kind of is connected with contract and contract law, and basically the stuff that relatively common knowledge with regards to entities or corporations forming contracts with us. So in effect, everything is a contract. It's not an agreement. So contract basically means that it's one-sided. So obviously it's not in your favor. So you need to break those contracts. Now, for me, I start off with the very first contract, which is my birth certificate. So I break contracts with that. I break contracts with my bills. I break contracts with my basically any form of documentation. And when I say break contract, it doesn't mean to say that I rip it up or don't use it. It means that on a psychic level, I break contract using intent and focus. and it has to be done daily because sometimes things will pop up that you forgot to do because, you know, going back through your timeline of all the contracts that you've been tricked into, it can take a long time. And sometimes you forget things. And a good exercise to do is before you go to sleep at night is to ask yourself the question, are there any outstanding contracts that I need to break? And I guarantee you by the morning or the next day, something will spring to your consciousness.
And how could you break those contracts, mate? Are you talking about by chanting mantras in the morning? This is what you said to me, like looking in the mirror and saying, I break contracts with any negative parasitic forces. This is one example you gave to me, which is obviously quite extreme.
Yeah. So it's also, you want a sort of intensity. You definitely need focus. And remember, intent trumps everything. So, for instance, if you said a word slightly wrong, it's not going to stop it from working. It's all about your genuine intent. So even as something as simple as, you know, I break contracts, I do not consent, you know, that could be enough. It may need a little bit more work depending on how far in or how tricked you were into the contract. So some require more work. Some can just be broken in a few seconds, psychologically and energetically.
With the power of intent and fire, focus, intent, remember, exercise.
Or execute.
I prefer execute. Inner Guardians. This has been amazing. Right, okay, we have breached the ultimate 5-hour barrier, so we've got to have like a 2-minute break. Obviously, this is going to be a 6-hour stream. You don't know. Right. Inner Guardians, this has been amazing. I hope you don't have to, I know it's been a great tax on you to divulge this much information. I hope you don't have to go anywhere. We'd love you to stick around for the more sort of open, relaxed, free chat that's going to come in the next half an hour. Guys, if you're still tuned in, that means that you have broken contracts with the Archontic forces. I'm just going to boot people out as we do the break. If you are still tuned in, this is Rise Above Live. I'm Double LMC, that's Andy PG.
Generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above, abstract stillness, rise above, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above, extinguish fear when we generate. Since day one we've been going in militant, not same, oh so different, abstract stillness, no equivalent, double L's flows omnipotent, may I suggest a lyric proof vest, I got a bar that will tear through a chest, cause a massacre from my caliber, your Kevlar can't protect. Anyway, back to the subject, expose devilish acts to the public. I talk topics, they won't publish, instigating cold wars like Sputnik. Observe you with a satellite view, heard the cattle these parasites do. Worshipping the gods of our conquerors, it's a blinded acolyte view. Members the spineless remain reminded, they drink blood and sacrifice you. So misguided, laws are provided to benefit the chosen few. So we rise above and extinguish fear when we generate love. A single candle lights up the darkness, that is the power we all harness. Let's identify targets, light them up, lift them down. Carpet beef, sprinkling garnish. The message, word, power, sound. I don't care if my whip gets tarnished. Spit this shit till I'm dead in the ground. Where they pollute your mind with garbage. Do one thing, just hold it down. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, extinguish fear when we generate love. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate, rise above. Extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above and extinguish fear when we generate. It's more than 232s in a hook. Do you want lyrics? I write books. Where your head double L overtook with a statement you can't overlook, and I drop rhymes you can't unhear. Plot lines never unclear, and I tell them direct to your ear. I doubt the signs that guided us here. And these lies from lost puppeteers who cut through throats like Schwartz buccaneers. Call to arms, don't volunteer. Or take orders from brigadier. From war and carnage, they profiteer. The march goes on till we disappear. It's my duty to interfere. Smash them system like chandelier. MCs chat about whips and cars. I rap bars about pyramids on Mars. Another weird subjects, hidden for years, locked in casks. Strap a protective mask, inform your collective. War and star. It's a harrowing task, and I'm swimming in fears on a narrowing path. I'm powering past. All these bullshit rappers will devour you last. And they're carrying fast. Drop from the top of a towering shaft. Push from the ledge of a soaring peak. Shoot from the pledge of a war and speak. Close to the edge, the outlook's bleak. Frozen breath cause the output's weak. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate. Rise above, extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, extinguish fear when we generate. Look. Rise above when we generate. Rise above, generate. Rise above, extinguish fear when we generate. Rise above when we generate. Rise above and extinguish fear when we generate.
Okay, we're back, everyone. How is everyone enjoying? That was part 3 of 4 of Master Lee's presentation. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and hope you like that little video there. Oh my God, the eye has fallen off Rise Above. Is that a sign? Is that an omen? Looks like the R's about to fall off as well. Holy shit! I think it must be the heat in the studio the last couple of weeks. Yeah, thank you very much, Rise and Shine. Like those bars. That video, I believe I made that video, by the way. I made that in lockdown, I think. Just at the start of lockdown. Right, so I think without any further ado, I will say, don't forget, RA Treat tickets are available. riseabove.tv, the £66 for adults. Let's go straight in. Master Lee, the culmination of metaphysical personal protection. This is it for tonight, guys.
Big up Inner Guardians, thank you so much for tonight, mate. Everyone has just been in awe of what you've put together. We've got a real UK rival for Mark Passio here. We talked about.
I'm gonna have to watch this whole show back.
Listen, we're gonna watch this whole. We should make a show of you and me watching this show back, having reactions to what Inner Guardians was saying, mate. Absolutely killed it. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'll tell you what, it's mad that you actually watched the show and you're a fan of the show too. What an honour.
Yeah, no, it's a great platform, and you know, the words "rise above" is kind of what it's all about. What I bring to the party is the protection side of it, and also, excuse me, just remember the first principles. That is the ultimate form of personal protection, is understanding how to communicate and how to navigate through this realm. If you don't, and this is the game, they don't want us to know. They want to drop the veil, keep it down, keep us in the dark, keep us distracted and fascinated. When in actual fact, we are very important to this system, this ecosystem. We are the bio-transmitters of all kinds of frequencies and energies, as Tesla would always look towards.
I've always said that we are both receivers and transmitters.
Yeah.
And that comes from a sort of level of Ikism, which is maybe what sort of birthed me into this over 20 years ago now. And Ike isn't the be all and end all, and I'm not going to die on the hill of Ike, but he always said this: our double helix on our DNA is the absolute perfect shape for an antenna. Yes. Now, an antenna receives and transmits.
Yes, it does.
So think about what we are. He always spoke about you said we're right. Inner Guardian said tonight an amazing thing. We are the most sophisticated piece of biotech in the realm, physically, that has been recorded. So any piece of technology, no matter how high level, how sort of Crowleyan, Schwabian, black magical it is, using these small Terra grippers, because we've literally shown the pictures of this nanotech. It is the Solomon's
Get it
stuff.
up, Lance. Get it
Right,
up.
get it up. Let's do some Jamieing. Okay, this is the freestyle section of the show.
This is
let's
literally-
link everything that Inner Guardians has dropped with everything we've said before. Because I've said this before. We don't give you the rabbit hole. We give you the whole goddamn rabbit. Okay, let me get up the screen.
Was that
Yeah,
mean that
that's
the-
it.
the
Mate, and
most
that's coming on a
advanced
t-shirt. Believe me, that is coming on a t-shirt. It's coming on a meme. It's coming to a screen near you. Not the rabbit hole, the whole goddamn rabbit. So could you please, Jamie here, Terra Grippers, right? This is the nanotech which Lord Schwab is planning as part of his fourth industrial revolution. Terra Grippers, yeah, there it is. Parasite engineer Terra Grippers, the second one here, right there. There you go, right there. Share the screen. If we could click the share the screen there. So what we're talking about here, no, on the bottom line, down, add to stream. Boom. Right. This is the first level of the literal glorious Curism, Schwabism, nanotech which they're looking to put inside us. And when we talk about the sacred shapes, the sacred geometry, what is this? First of all, it's a pentagram. This parasite engineered Terra Gripper is said to link to the inside of our sort of intestinal tract, grip into it using its Solomon star rotating sort of claw. Yeah. I mean,
crawl along your intestine. Yeah,
so
nice.
On the face of it, this might seem super sophisticated, but what Inner Guardians are basically saying on the nanoscale of how sophisticated this Solomon Terra Gripper is, it is nothing compared to our bio machine. This is very crude. Do you know what? Until I've had this insight tonight, I thought this was very advanced. Look at it. That is rubbish. That is literally like that little slinky band which you used to slap on your wrist and it goes ching.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All that is it's like a starfish of that. And it's controlled by a pulse of push and pull, negative, positive, and that's how that Terra Gripper works. And that links to the inside of your stomach and it gives you the Coviet nanotech incrementally until you're a fully compliant citizen. But what Inner Guardians is saying is that that's completely crap. That's proper Soviet technology compared to what we are.
The power of intent can smash that to pieces.
Yeah, it's rubbish. That's not sophisticated at all. Look how primitive it is.
Yeah.
Please expand. How can intent smash that to pieces?
Well, as long as the intent's strong enough, and you have to have the intent for a duration or a period of time. I mean, you couldn't just like think it, and that's the thing. People don't really understand what intent is. Intent is an intention, but for a period of time. But like I say, what they are trying to get to is to demolish or de-evolve our ability to have any intention whatsoever. So, we just become kind of passive.
Well, let's think about what this thing does. Its intent is to stick to the inside of the body and slowly release the medicine or the drug that would normally be injected to you in a massive one-dose amount through a syringe. Let's be real about it. That's what this piece of technology is. So you want to talk about intent? This small microbe has the intent of staying there and slowly, incrementally giving you some sort of chemical concoction.
Yeah,
and
but
what
this
you're
is on
saying
a
is your intent could overcome that.
Yeah, because this is on a 3D level. So
this is where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind. I mean, it's advanced as far as 3D goes, but it's limited because it's stuck on the 3D. It's a 3D thing, and it's not by coincidence that it's in the stomach tract. Remember what I said about the food system? Everything is a food system. Everything's connected to food. This is why you need to understand the food diagrams. You need to understand types of food. You need to understand the transmutation and the ways of changing or the transformation of energies through food.
This time
we are part of the food chain.
Sorry, Lee, does that tie in with gut biome and stuff like this? I've just been looking into this more recently.
Yeah, but this is kind of on a 3D level. What I'm suggesting is that there is types of feeding on a much higher level, and these
An
are the
energetic
levels
level?
on an energetic level. That these are the subjects that need to concern us. I mean, of course, we need to live, we need to eat, but and I do know of some occultists that can literally live on coffee and cigarettes because they're able to transform it certain things.
Whoa.
I mean, you've
Maybe
heard
that's-
of
maybe that's how I've survived.
you've heard of people that live on air, people that live on
Breathians or
breathing.
breathians that they call themselves.
Yeah.
Right,
For
we've
the
got a
most part,
comment. Sorry, mate. Right, on the same thing, right? Breathians, people that live on their own sustained energy. eConnect says, "Have you heard about the Iceman?" I presume you mean Wim Hof. He got injected with the virus. It didn't get ill. Tom Gent says, "Yeah, his breathing techniques are insane." So Wim Hof breathing techniques. This is something we've discussed, Lee, on the phone, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a big protagonist for breathing and correct breathing, and this is one of the reasons why they're trying to stop people from breathing correctly by face coverings. It's almost kind of obvious, but you do get people that, I mean, I know people that have done every single thing, and they still get ill. When you look at homeless people that haven't wore any masks, no social distancing, bad food, blah blah blah. They haven't got ill from this. So, well, there's a thing called dropping importance. So, when you place importance on something like sickness, guess what? You get sick.
Intent, free will, manifestation.
So dropping importance. That doesn't mean to say that to live a kind of to neglect your life. It's intentional dropping of importance. The moment you put the intent behind any given action, it gives it power.
Yes.
So, for instance, to do anything intentionally has a lot more power than to do something accidentally.
Like you're talking about before, the difference between an intelligent response and a reaction.
Yeah.
Right. They keep us all in fight or flight.
Fight or flight, exactly. Fight or flight would be the reaction, as Word Nerd puts it there, right? We've got so many questions. Ali W. Inner Guardians, do you believe that they, the archontic, the parasitic force, the opposers, distract us from God?
To answer that question, I would have to bring in first principles. So we need to first agree upon what the definition of God is.
For the sake of this short form discussion on Rise Above, we shall say that God is the infinite divine spark of creation that is ineffable and is not properly described by any man-made mythology. That divine force. Can you answer it in that respect?
Yeah, I tend to use the word the absolute, but it's all relative.
The absolute.
So the absolute in this system. There's a discussion and a debate about whether Yahweh or Jehovah or Marduk or who is God.
That is our favorite discussion. That character, is that the grand architect? Is that the absolute?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we need to establish first principles, because at the moment, there's many gods. So what is God? So I would try to, it's very difficult to explain this, but not necessarily to reduce God, but I would. So, for instance, one of my teachers, esoteric teachers, they said, for you, God is your mother and your father in relative terms, because they created you. Now, if you cannot love your mother and father, then you've really got no business praying to some God in heaven. So try and look at what's around you to start with. Now, of course, if you've got abusive parents or whatever, it's going to be quite difficult. But at the same time, you could also make the claim that Jehovah is quite abusive. I mean, he was jealous. He punished. He
was a tyrant.
Yeah, he was tyrannical. So, yeah, First of all, to answer a question like that, you'd need to establish the first principles. Would need to really get to the bottom of that, and this is where first principles and the trivium would come into play when you're faced with that. Because otherwise, which God? Hindu gods, Jewish
Can we
gods.
zoom in on Yahweh? Can we zoom in and apply first principles to Yahweh? Is Yahweh, in your opinion, from your understanding, the absolute or an imposter? That's my question to you, mate. As described in the Abrahamic faiths, as we know, is the character, the God of Yahweh, in your opinion, the absolute?
Well, I would say that
on the spot, mate, on the spot.
A huge percentage of what we know from religions. I would say that most religions have been hijacked at some point. So I read the Bible. I've read the Bible numerous times. I also read the books that weren't put in the Bible. Now, if you look at all the books that weren't put in the Bible, they're all the books that talk about the metaphysical. The Bible tends to focus on like the nuts and bolts and the 3D and the historical timelines of civilization or life and things like that. The books that are not in the Bible, I believe they're excluded because they give you the opportunity to enter the non-physical.
Enoch.
Yeah, and
One example.
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, for instance, the Nag Hammadi texts. If you read them, I mean, it talks about loads of esoteric things. They're fascinating books.
Yeah.
But it's almost like to understand religion, you have to kind of read the books.
That's a very diplomatic way of answering the question, Inner Guardians.
Is Yahweh God?
Is Yahweh the absolute, not God, the creator of the whole everything? This is my question, because this is my theory. The source of creation for the entire universe is 100% not that Yahweh character.
That's us.
That's what we believe. I think that me and Andy are on the same page. We believe that is the imposter that poses as the Lord of the Earth, whether it's an energetic parasitic force, whether it's a real entity.
So I mean, I reckon we're the architect.
Who is the architect?
We, as a collective, are the architect. That's what I believe.
Yeah, there is one point in the presentation which is basically relativity and scale. So you've got collective consciousness, you've got a general consensus. So what esoteric and Gnostic studying is all about is that you are the creator, you are the director, and getting back to the first principle of that and recognizing who you really are, as opposed to being something that originated from a monkey and on a spinning ball going through infinity, not knowing why, not knowing what, why or how. That's, people are born into this realm and die in this realm, and they never figure that out.
Word Nerd has been dying to ask this question. Word Nerd, I've got it on the screen. Graham Hancock, The War on Consciousness, and the banned TEDx talk. I don't know if you're aware of this, Inner Guardians. I've sampled it in the preface to one of my tunes, Enter the Jungle. And Graham Hancock talks about the war on consciousness, the war on teacher plants, namely dimethyltryptamine. Are you familiar with that TEDx talk?
No, but with regards to the context of it, I think I know where it's
shamanic technology, the mix of the MEOI inhibitor with the plant which contains the dimethyltryptamine, which is 100,000 to 1 chance that they managed to mix these plants in the Amazonian jungle to create the ayahuasca. And he does the whole talk on it and how the thought that potentially when we were at some lesser level of evolution, this potent mixture might have ignited us to actually consciously evolve. This is the stoned ape theory.
Yeah,
sort of with Terence McKenna with the mushrooms. It crosses between ayahuasca and mushrooms. It's a very interesting theory. Can we have your thoughts on it?
Well, basically plant substances to evolve consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, that type of logic or thinking basically talks about evolution. So basically, we need to get to the first principle of evolution. Are we evolving or are we de-evolving? Were we more conscious as a civilization many, many years ago? Or are we ascending to a greater level of consciousness? I would surmise that we're being degraded at the moment. There's not an evolution.
Yeah.
We're coming to an end of an octave. We're coming to an end of an octave, and in order to bridge the octave, there's going to be a shock. Now, to bridge the octave, the option to use plant substances is a possibility, yes. But it can also be done naturally. It can also be done through the knowledge. So the knowledge I presented today potentially is enough to bridge the end of an octave. Because remember what I said about perpetual motion.
Yeah.
Things rise and things descend.
Like a pendulum swinging back and forth from left to right.
Yeah.
And right to left.
Yeah. So the technology that denies perpetual motion, I think that is one big kind of smokescreen. I think we're being lied to about the ability to create perpetual motion, which is energy. Energy is infinite.
And like you said, you believe that we are biotechnological energy factories in a sense. That's how you coined it at one stage of the presentation.
Yeah, the avatar aspect of us, the physical 3D version of ourselves is literally a vehicle for the essence and the ability to transform energy.
Wow. Yeah, literally, we just in synchronistic unison just said, wow. Right, this is Rise Above. It's Friday night. We've breached the 5 hours. We're heading towards that 6 hour threshold. Our amazing guest tonight has been Inner Guardians. Tonight, we haven't done rabbit holes. We have dissected the whole rabbit. We've spit roasted it. We've opened it up. We've filleted it, and we've presented each different fillet of the rabbit hole to you in its physical, non-physical, exoteric, esoteric, innerteric, outerteric form. And the comments I can't even keep up with. Inner Guardians, Lee Hasdell, thank you so much for coming on. Please say you will come on again, because this has just been an introduction to your work. Let's be real about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a basic level introduction. But like I say,
stage one.
Yeah, something very important to understand is that it all depends on the individual. All depends on your intent. Nobody else can do it for you. All I do is I act as like a stick or a stick to provoke people, just to literally open a doorway or pathway for self-study. What I'm saying is not exclusive, and there are many sources. It's open source. It also depends on where you're from, what culture, what part of the world, also what your financial predicament is. In the group that I studied in, they said that it's best to be not too poor and not too wealthy. There's almost like a middle path, because if you're too poor, you're going to be worried about what to eat. You're not going to have time to think about ascending or anything like that.
You need to be on the right place of Maslow's hierarchy to be able to even think about ascension.
Exactly, yeah. And also equally, if you're uber wealthy, you're going to be having too much fun in the 3D.
Right, yeah, one last question to you, mate, because we can't go on for too long. And I'm actually going to ask for you for a yes or no answer to the question on the screen from eConnect, because I want to know the answer to this question. I know you're not a pharmacologist. Is weed a block to opening your consciousness? Yes or no? Smoking marijuana, is it a block to opening your consciousness?
No. Question: is weed a block or
is it a block or an opening to consciousness? Sorry for butchering your question, eConnect.
Right. Okay. So it depends on the intention behind it. So if you smoke weed for recreational purposes, then it could potentially be a block to consciousness. But if you set the intention to use weed to open or make a pathway to expanding consciousness, then so shall it be. Remember, it's all in the intent. It's not necessarily about the ritualization of it, but it's about showing respect and having the intent to expand consciousness. So you could drink a cup of coffee and expand consciousness. So yes, but you need to put the intent as a prefix.
That's a very
Intent
interesting answer, mate. So what are you trying to suggest, that you could actually use mediums or substances that some people would sort of instantly think were negative in a correct format as a tool? Psychedelics, stimulants,
Caffeine.
opiates, because we know that many geniuses, many creative wizards throughout the centuries have been known to be opiate addicts, cocaine addicts. Charles Dickens, Leonardo da Vinci, etc., etc., etc. Are we saying that there could be a right application and a tool for each of those mediums, substances,
Yes,
to expand consciousness?
With the correct intention, yes. Intention is literally the part of our biotech that pretty much artificial intelligence and any form of robotics or transhumanism doesn't have. Think about it. So
It can't do the intention.
Yeah, could you take, let's say a robot picks up a weapon and kills somebody. Could that robot be prosecuted in a court of law?
No.
Why not?
No, the person that wrote the algorithm would be prosecuted. Because the robot doesn't have consciousness, apparently.
Or the robot's not sentient.
Doesn't have a decision-making process.
Yeah, because it lacks intent. So the kind of natural law doesn't apply to it, which I would suggest that's what they're kind of doing. That's where they're going with the transhumanism. I don't know if you guys watched Westworld.
Amazing. The first season was mind-blowing, in my opinion. I saw mirrors of the Sumerian tablets, the Enki and Enlil paradigm. I saw so many things encoded into the first season of Westworld. I actually cried in the last episode with the missus. I just got back from Thailand. I don't care when I cried. I was like, whoa.
So basically that's like a form of artificial intelligence becoming conscious. And so with
There's
consciousness,
a deeper meaning to this game. That's what it says. There's a deeper meaning to this game.
Yeah, I mean that's a massive truth bomb, like with Blade Runner, major truth bombs in those films.
The NPC test, you shared that this week.
Yeah, well, that's something that we're going to have to start using in order to survive what's going on. We're going to have to be able to assess somebody's level, also if they're an NPC or not. I do it all the time. I've encountered all kinds of digital bots and artificial intelligence. I've also encountered ones in 3D.
Oh, okay. Is that
Is there methodology here? Or?
Word nerd, go on. It's your turn, mate. It's your turn. Go on, mate.
Is this? I'm trying to work out on what terms you're talking. They like metaphorically, or is there a methodology here? Or
as the 3D bots, is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about when he says 3D bots?
Yeah. Basically, humans devoid of a soul and essence. They're guided completely by third-party entities. They live amongst us.
Purely physical.
Yeah, physical manifestations. Yeah.
Whoa.
They're far
real
more
life
prevalent.
NPCs. Real life NPCs.
Yeah, they're far more prevalent than what we realize. Once you can start to use the first principles, trivium, quadrivium, and intent, focus. Once you can start to use that, the veil starts to drop. So then the realm becomes more exposed. So you start to see things that you didn't see before. In fact, when I was younger, I used to think that I could see dead people walking through a shopping center. And as it turns out, I was probably right. The Walking Dead. Yeah.
The Walking Dead. Well, now we're seeing it in real time.
Right. So what we've done tonight is almost like a group of study. I would put money on it that many of the audience probably yourselves will start to see over the next 24 hours, 48 hours, week, months, maybe some strange phenomena. If you start to apply the things that we discussed.
Well, I'm telling you right now, there's well over 100 people that have been avidly tuned in for every single second of what we have divulged tonight.
Yeah,
They
that
have
was
been listening with bated breath. And Lee, you have barely skimmed the edge of this rabbit hole. And like I say, we do the whole rabbit here. So you're going to come back and rise above, because the insight you've given tonight is barely barely an introduction, barely an initiation. And I've got to wrap it up, because we could test this to an 8-hour stream. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Inner Guardians, let me just finish off by saying you can get this guy on YouTube, Inner Guardians. If you actually want to contact him, let me go back to this. We've got to end off by giving you due diligence. Up here, share my screen, This is how you can get hold of this guy. If you're in serious trouble, this is the number you need to call right here. Close Solutions Protection Services, protection specialists, physical, non-physical protection, the Off-Grid Dojo, Zoom classes, prepping for the Great Reset, everything, all of the above. All of the teachings are here on the Inner Guardians YouTube channel. There's going to be so many more subscribers after tonight. Holy shit. Everything here we spoke about, Lee has broken down in a series of videos. They are very, very methodical to take you step by step through his teachings. And if you want a more tailored personal solution, you know how to contact him. It's right here. It's right here on the stream. Inner Guardians, thank you so much for coming on. We could go on all night, but I've got to say goodbye. Goodbye to the Off-Grid Dojo. Goodbye to Lee Hasdell, Inner Guardians. Let's have some last words from you.
Yeah, well, it was great tuning in tonight and giving my presentation. I hope everybody got something. It was relatively deep, but on a basic level. But like I say, go off. You need to do your own research, look into things, try and remember the stuff that I spoke about, and put it into practice. You need to start exercising. We're going to reach a critical mass, and we need to, of course, we need to win this. And it's down to the individual. And we've got the power to do it. And you've got absolutely amazing biotech to do it with.
The most advanced biotech that this physical realm has to offer. No, Inner Guardians, Lee Hasdell.
Thank you,
Closed
sir.
Solutions. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. As the comments say, Master Lee. Guys, what a show. Inner Guardians, we're going to have you back. Check him out on Facebook. He's in the Telegram group as well. If you need his services, you know how to get hold of him. If you want his teachings, I've showed you how to get hold of him on YouTube. All of the links to get hold of this man and to learn what he's got to say are all on our website, riseabove.news. Thank you so much, Inner Guardians. I'll chat to you in the next couple of days. Holy shit. What a guest.
Okay.
See you soon, mate. I say take care. He doesn't need to take care. He's taking care of us. See you later, mate. Whoa.
It's crazy, isn't it? You see, that was the night when Master Lee got called Master Lee. You saw it there. It happened in the comment section. You guys coined it. So it's Monday. It's Monday night. Tomorrow night I'm going on someone else's podcast, Lou Collins. It's called Liberty Talks. So I won't be broadcasting tomorrow. Wednesday night is Master Lee's dojo. Thursday night, the night before the big presentation, I'm going to replay The Power of Three, Master Lee's next presentation, which was The Power of Three. And so then on Friday night, you've got the full foundation course of Inner Guardians knowledge before we literally go a whole rabbit. The filet, the mignon of rabbit is coming. This is Panpsychism 3.3 from Inner Guardians this Friday, the 26th of August 2022. All right, guys, so we'll be back on Thursday night, 8 o'clock, for another restream, The Power of Three, which will complete the Master Lee teachings up to this point that he's presented on the show. If you want to catch up with anything else, get onto Inner Guardians on the YouTube in preparation for Friday night's feast. Guys, thank you very much. I'll see you on Thursday. Rise above.